During the final weeks of the school year, your child took the state-required multiple-choice North Carolina end-of-grade tests in reading and mathematics. The end-of-grade testing parent-teacher report is provided here. Scores on the tests are among the many ways to find out how well your child is doing in school. Test scores should always be considered along with all the other available information that we provide, like tests in class to your child, and other products and other projects we do in class. So those should also be considered when we're looking at these scores, not just these scores alone. Test scores do allow you to compare your child's performance with that of the other students in the same grade at this school and across North Carolina. There are 3 forms of the end-of-grade reading and mathematics tests administered in each classroom, A, B, and C, and each test has different questions, but these forms are linked completely so that the scores can be compared. There are different kinds of scores for the end-of-grade tests. The first is the developmental scale score. That is the number of questions that your child answered correctly out of all the questions is called their raw score. That'll be on your parent report. For the end-of-grade tests, the raw score is converted to what's called the developmental scale score. The developmental scale score allows us to compare your child's end-of-grade score from one subject and their grades to the next. So 3rd through 8th grade, we can compare them to the next grade. The developmental scale score is like a ruler that measures growth in reading and mathematics from one year to the next. Just like height in inches, your child's score in reading and mathematics are expected to increase each year. We also have what's called percentiles. The percentile on this score that you see allows you to compare your child's performance on the test this year to all North Carolina students who took the test in the norming year. The norming year that I'm referring to is the test for the first year that it was administered. So we compare those scores back to the first year that test was administered. The percentile score that I'm talking about tells you that your child performed at a level that is equal to or better than the stated percentage of students who took the test during that year, that norming year. The higher the percentile that you see, the better a student is performing compared to other students in his or her grade. These percentiles range from 1 to 99%. For example, if your child in this score has a score of 95%, that is their percentile score, that means they are performing at the top 5% of students in North Carolina, and that's a good score. But even if you see something like 50, for example, that just means that they are performing 50% higher than the rest of the North Carolina students and 50% lower, and that's completely right in the middle. That is not an accurate reflection of their skill in that area unless it's a much lower percentile. This is how we like to average that's how they average the scores at the grading headquarters, and that's how the percentiles work. So if you see those scores, that means 99, that means they're in the top 1% of that specific question compared to all of the other answers we've gathered from the students in the state. Also, there's something called achievement levels, which we see in the EOG middle grades report. Achievement levels are basically we predict where your student will be and where the student should be in these standards, which allows your child's performance to be compared to grade level expectations. Now, grade level, we call them GE, grade level expectations. That's just a simple way to create a continuum of scores. So if you see that your child is scoring an 8.8, that the first score on the left is referring to the year, so 8th grade, and the second decimal point is the month. So that's just where we expect that student to be at that specific year and that specific time. If you see a high, it's not uncommon to see a high EG. That's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean that they should be in a different content area, like a different grade. It just means that they did particularly well there, better than other students who took the score. So that's what that means. For level 1, for the achievement level, that means that students are performing at the level that is not satisfactory. That means they will need might need extra assistance there. That means they didn't successfully complete that knowledge level, and they won't be able to go on to the next grade. Level 2 it means that they are demonstrating not very consistent signs of knowing what the subject matter is about. That means they're not quite prepared for the next grade level. Grade level 3. Level 3 is they're moderately well in all the skills that they need to be demonstrating. Essentially, they are pretty prepared for the next grade level. And then finally we have level 4, and that just means that the student is excelling beyond where they should be at the grade level, and they are absolutely ready for the next grade level. There are some key features of the reading test. For example,